No one puts anything in my agenda without my permission, without me allowing for those things to be in there. No one is deciding on what I do with my time. If I decide to work, I work. If I decide to rest, I rest. I am 100% in control of the business, and I intend to be always in control of the business. The team will grow for sure. There's going to be people working, more and more people working in the Bistopia team, but I will be the one calling the shots ultimately. Welcome to Bistopia Podcast. I'm your host, Mercedes Castellani, life purpose coach, business owner, and your spiritual guide on all things mindset, manifestation, and purpose. This podcast is a space for deep reflections, meaningful conversations to help you expand your mind, dive into the depths of your soul, and create a life that makes you feel alive. Whether you're walking, driving, or simply vibing, take a deep breath and get ready to dive. Hello, my love. Welcome to another episode of Bistopia Podcast. I'm your host, Mercedes Castellani, and today we're going to talk about freedom. I decided to create this episode because I really want to inspire you as to what is possible when you follow your purpose. And if you decide to become an entrepreneur, then this is one of the main rewards that you're going to get, and it is ultimate freedom. When we follow our purpose, some people decide to set up their own business. Some people decide to switch to a new career, to a new job in the corporate world. So today I'm going to be talking to those of you who want to go through the entrepreneur path. In this entrepreneurial path, there are, of course, some challenges, some hardships, but there's also something absolutely amazing, fantastic that I think we cannot comprehend until we can actually live this reality. So my aim for this show, for this episode, is to really inspire you as to what is possible should you decide to go through the entrepreneurial path. And if you're not into the entrepreneurial path, you want to continue in a corporate career, how can you start introducing some bits and pieces of this freedom that I'm going to be sharing with you today into your own life, deciding which kind of freedom is important for you and introducing more of those different types of freedom in your life. So today I'm going to talk about 5 different types of freedom, because when we talk about freedom, it's such a huge, wild concept that I like to bring this into more realistic terms. So the way I see freedom is the way I define it. Of course, you could Google definition, ask GPT. The way I define it is the ability to be able to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, no questions asked, because you can. These 2 last years, living 100% through my own business, being 100% free, 100% happy since I quit my job in October 2023. These 2 years have been 2 years of immense freedom. And I want to share with you the different kinds of freedom so that you can feel inspired as to what is possible. So let's dive into the first kind of freedom, which is time freedom, which is basically the ability to choose when you want to work, when you want to rest, when you want to see people. So basically what this means is that you are the one who can set your own hours. Are you a person that works better in the mornings? Then maybe you can put your schedule around the mornings. Are you a night owl who works better at night? Maybe you can wake up late, do your sport, and then wake up and then really start working much later. You can take breaks or vacations without needing any approval. You don't need to talk to your boss. You don't need to ask for a PTO. You just take the breaks and holidays whenever you want them. And then you can also balance work with some professional responsibilities, with passions, because you can really modulate your work and work when you want to and not work when you don't want to. Then you are the boss of your own agenda. So what this looks like very concretely for me is that I am the master of my agenda. No one puts anything in my agenda without my permission, without me allowing for those things to be in there. No one is deciding on what I do with my time. If I decide to work, I work. If I decide to rest, I rest. If I decide to go and meet friends, I meet friends. If I decide to do sports, I do sports. I decide absolutely everything that is happening on my agenda. So let me give you some concrete examples. Yesterday, for example, it was Thursday. And for my body, the best thing is to do sports in the morning. I just feel good. I start the day with a great vibe, and that's just what works for my body. So I went on a run on a Thursday at 10 a.m. in the middle of the working week, if you want, in the middle of the working day. But I just went there and I had my run, and I came back at 11, took a shower, and probably started working at 11:30. There's no way on earth you can do that in a job. There's no way unless you start at midday, and that's like your actual moment when you start. You should be working between 10 and 11:30 for sure. I know that before I was working from 10 to 11:30 in the corporate world. And today I'm recording this episode and it's Friday. So I have some friends, they're a couple, they're together, and they just had a child. So because they have a child, we cannot meet during the evenings. We cannot meet during the weekends because I'm traveling a lot. So basically the only moment in which we can meet is during an afternoon. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take Friday afternoon kind of like off. So I'm going to finish recording this episode at 2:30. I'm going to be there at 3 with my friends in a beautiful Parisian coffee, just chatting and seeing how they are doing and how their baby is doing. So this is the freedom. I can decide to work. I can decide to do sports. I can decide to meet my friends. So I can modulate my agenda all the time. And I decide what's included, what's not included. And it just gives you this sense of peace, basically, because you are in control of your life again. You are in control of your time again. Now, mind you, because I'm my own boss, sometimes I'm going to decide, you know what? We have a launch and we have a bunch of things to do. So this weekend, you're going to work because we need something done. It's not really usual, but during a launch, maybe I will work during a weekend, or maybe I'm going to stay until 8 or 9 p.m. during the week. I try not to. I try to keep a certain balance. I try to work between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. because that's what works best for my own body, because I'm an early morning person. I could actually start even earlier. That would be even better for my body. But like the ideal for my body would be 8 a.m. to 5, like 8 to 5. That would be perfect for my body, because basically the corporate rhythm, the 9 to 5, is made for people who have my chronotype, the early birds. But if you're not an early bird, you need to sleep a lot more and then you start working later. And if you would be a night owl, you would be able to organize things in a different way for your body. This is what works best for my body. So I organized my week in that way. But then if I'm in the middle of a launch, maybe I work a little bit during the evening. Maybe I work a little bit during the weekend if I have to. Not often, but it could happen during a very, very busy couple of weeks. Then for me, what is also super cool is that I decide on my business trips. There's no one telling me, oh, you need to go to that event. Oh, you need to go to visit this client. Oh, you need to do this. Oh, you need to do that. Oh, you need to go to this conference. I decide on my business trips. So now my business trip is next week. I'm going to see Tony Robbins in Germany. And I decided this. I wanted to see Tony Robbins, the legend, one of the most famous coaches in the world right now. He has changed thousands and thousands of lives. And I am just so excited to go to Germany and to have that as my business trip. Then in November, I'm going to Australia. I'm going to meet my coach in person, my business mentor in person. So I decided that I wanted to go to Australia to work with this coach. So I can go and do that. There's no one telling me, you know what, you need to go to Australia. You know what, you need to go to Germany. I used to go to Germany for wine fairs because there's a huge wine fair in Germany, the biggest wine fair in the world, actually. And now I'm going to Germany for a conference with Tony Robbins on self-development, mindset, and just living the human experience to the fullest, basically. So that's super cool. I decide when I take holidays, which is also kind of, I wouldn't say dictated, but I need to check with my partner's schedule, and he has a traditional job. So I need to check also with his schedules. And I decide also on the amount of work that I'm going to have. So I can decide, you know what, now I'm going to do a sprint. I want to launch a new thing. I'm going to do this new project. I'm going to start this thing. I'm going to make this change in the business. And I can decide, you know what, for the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to go the extra mile. And then maybe after that extra mile, I can say, you know what, now I'm going to take it chill this week because the past 2 or 3 weeks have been a little bit intense. And now I'm going to take it a little bit calmer. So I decide on the rhythm that I want to give to the business. If I want to go fast, I can go fast and I can just put all my energy into that. But if I want to take it a little bit calmer and I want to rest and I want to maybe prioritize other things in my life, or I just want to rest because I'm a little bit tired or whatever it might be, I can change all of those things. So having this time freedom, deciding on what you do, what you don't do, your business trips, your holidays, your amount of work, it just gives you this immense sense of control over your life and this immense sense of peace. I don't need to convince anybody. I don't need to ask for permission. I just do whatever I feel like doing. The second type of freedom is location freedom. And this was major for me because when I decided to start my business, my two biggest motivations were impact and freedom. Impact meaning I want to change people's lives. Creating beautiful packaging, creating beautiful wines, creating beautiful stories, it's not enough. I want to change women's lives. And I want to stop at some point in my life. I say, you know what? I change thousands of lives. And the other motivation was freedom, location freedom, time freedom, all of these different types of freedoms that we are discussing today. Location freedom was particularly important for me. So basically, that's why I set up a business which is 100% online. I don't take any coaching sessions in the 3D world. I only do online sessions, which allows me to work from wherever I want in the world. I could be in Bali, I could be in Tulum, I could be in a place where I would pay zero taxes. I could be literally anywhere. So what this means is that I decided to set up a business that is 100% remote and my body can be wherever I want it to be. So for example, right now I made a conscious decision to move to Paris, to live in Paris with my partner, to prioritize a project with him as a couple, as a family in the future. And I decided this. I could be anywhere. I could be in Bali, I could be in Tulum, I could be Dubai, I could be literally anywhere. I could be moving like a digital nomad, just with no fixed home and just traveling the world. So this freedom to me, it's absolutely fantastic because for me, I wanted to have a base where I have a home, all my things are there, my doggy is there, my partner is there. But at the same time, I can be wherever I want. I'm going to go 3 weeks to Australia. I'm going to go 1 week to Germany. I'm going to go 2 weeks with my family to Hungary for a family trip. So I have a base and then I move around that base, which today is Paris. And this also means that I get to prioritize my family. My family lives in Argentina. I was born in Argentina. My mom lives there. All my aunts and uncles and cousins live in Argentina. So I can go to Argentina for 2 months and I can just work from my childhood home from my childhood room, which is all pink, by the way. Used to be all pink. Now my sister, she made it all violet, which is very Bistopia, so that's cool. So I can go there for 2 months and I can just be working in Argentina, seeing my family and friends. I have so many friends all over Europe, so I can just go for a weekend and maybe I work from there Thursday, Friday. I spend the weekend with them and I get back home on Sunday or Monday, whatever. So I can go and visit these friends all over Europe whenever I want. I don't need to ask for permission. I can work a couple of days here and there. So what this means is that I can actually, because I can change my schedule, I can do things. I can actually take the flights that I want to take the trains that I want to take. I don't need to take the train or the flight on Friday evening, come back on Sunday evening. I can just go on Wednesday night, work somewhere, Thursday, Friday. I can be with my friends Saturday, Sunday, and maybe I get back on Sunday night, Monday morning, Monday night. Who cares? As long as the work is done, my clients are happy, there's absolutely no issue. So I can take the train or I can take the plane that I actually want to take. And then because I can work from everywhere, I can work from home, like I am right now recording this episode. I need silence, so I always record the episodes in my own home. But I can also work from a 5-star hotel in Paris, which is something that I do often. I can also work from a co-working space in Paris, which is something that I've done a couple of times. I can work from the membership club. I can work from wherever I want. So to me, this location freedom, just the ability of being able to work from wherever and being able to put my body where I actually want my body to be without forcing anything, to me, that's just so precious, so precious. And I am so happy that I decided to build this business in the way that I've built this business, because this location freedom is just precious, precious, precious. The third type of freedom is financial freedom. What does financial freedom mean? It means that in the way I see it, there is no ceiling, there is no roof for my income. When you have a corporate job, you have a very clear ground, but you also have a very clear ceiling. And the only way you can change your income, your salary, is by getting a promotion, negotiating a salary raise on your current job, switching to a new company to get a much better salary than you have in your current company. But your income is still kind of limited. It's very stable. You know what you're making. You know the roof, you know the soil, but you also know the roof and the ceiling. In this case, having my own business, being self-employed, the potential for my business is unlimited. Like, I know that I'm going to be a millionaire in this lifetime. And with this business, I can become a millionaire. I can become a billionaire. I can get the amount of money that I desire, basically, and that I'm able to build with effort, with skill, with mindset work, with scalability, with systems that support that level of growth. I can build several income streams because my energy, when you're in a job, it's kind of like they expect your whole energy to go there. But when you have your own business, you're independent, you do your own thing. So you can also pour your energy into other income streams. You can set up an investment property. You can spend more time checking potential investments. You have the freedom to go and meet people and explore collaborations that will bring you new income streams. And I'm also in charge of the pricing that my services have. I'm also in charge of the business expenses. I can decide on everything, absolutely everything. I decide on the pricing. I decide on the business expenses. I decide on the systems that I set up to really support the growth of the business. So basically, Blisstopia, my business, has no limits other than the limits that I'm imposing into the business, right? So as long as I continue to expand my mindset, expand the team, expand the systems, expand our availability to be scalable, as long as I continue to expand those things, there is no limit for Blisstopia. This one idea, this one business has the potential to make me a millionaire or a billionaire. So to me, this financial freedom is really important because I am a very ambitious person. I know that I'm here to make big things. I know that I'm here to change thousands of lives. And I know that I'm here to be extremely, extremely, extremely wealthy. Like this is part of this trip that I have on earth. It's me being absolutely wealthy. So yes, there are times in which in the very beginning of the business, this financial freedom can be a little bit scary because you don't have a stable floor. But once you understand how that works, you regulate your nervous system around that, then you also realize, you know what, there's actually no ceiling. There's women in this industry making millions per year. So there's literally no ceiling. And that is such a big motivation to keep on learning, to keep on improving, to keep on growing, to keep on serving more people, to just keep on developing the business until it is at the level that I've always seen it, the level that I know it will be and should be. The fourth freedom is creative freedom. And oh my God, this one is just so precious for me because I used to be in the marketing world. So there was, of course, a lot of creativity, but kind of like the projects there is room for decision. You are deciding, especially as a marketing director, you are deciding on the project, you are deciding on many things, but you still have your top management, you still have your CEO, you still have the shareholders or the shareholder, depending on the structure. You always have people who are higher up in the hierarchy, and they are going to be deciding on whether you pursue or not a certain project and on whether your ideas have a green light or a red light. So what happens is that typically you have an idea in marketing, you work with an agency, they make it even better, it's super cool. And then you present something to your boss. If you are lucky, your boss is going to like it. But then the moment you go to the boss of the boss, the boss of the boss of the boss, people are going to start changing things. And then your idea basically becomes a Frankenstein where it's not your idea anymore. It's a Frankenstein of different things. Sometimes it ends up being much better than your own idea. Sometimes it ends up being a Frankenstein. So to me, right now, having this freedom of actually picking the projects that I want to pick and then just having ideas, looking for an agency or a freelancer that can support me with something. And then when I'm pleased about the result, I can just press publish, or I can just print, or I can just do the thing. And I'm the one that has the first and the last word. That is just so precious creatively, because then what you guys see are my ideas. Like this podcast is my idea. Now I have someone who's editing the podcast and supporting me, but the themes of the podcast, the topics that we cover, what we're talking about today, the music that we've put, the colors that we've put, it's just me. It's me coming to life through a podcast. The website, I love how the website looks right now. It's just so elegant and pretty and premium and all of that. It was just me. Like I did the website with my two hands and with my brain and with my eyes. I did the website. So all of those things, just being able to bring your ideas to life without any limits, without any changes in your original idea. Other than that, of course, listening to other people, making your idea even better, that's amazing. But no more Frankensteins in my life. So now, because I live and breathe creativity, I feel so alive. I create every single day of my life. I sit with a white paper and I'm just drafting. Okay, this is a new program and this is the target and this is the pricing that we're going to put and this is how it's all going to work. And it just lights me up so much to be in this pure creative energy with no limits from any other people, any other person. So I can choose what to do. I create things. I can choose what to launch or what's going to wait a little bit, following my highest excitement. So right now, a couple of weeks ago, I launched Wealth Codes for the first time. And it was because I was just so lit up by the topic of money mindset. I just wanted to talk about money mindset. I wanted to teach women how to be wealthier, how to be a badass, how to become millionaires, billionaires, how to get rid of any limiting beliefs. I was so lit up. I am so lit up by this topic that I said, I'm just going to create this new program. This is how we're going to call it. Boom, 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 boom. These are the modules. These are the meditations. I created the whole thing and boom, it's out there. The women are doing it. They're loving it. But it was because I was so freaking excited about money mindset. If I wouldn't have been excited about money mindset, maybe I could have waited 6 months. Maybe I could have canceled the launch. Maybe I could have found a different way of doing that thing that I wanted to do. There is always this flexibility as to where I want to pour my creative energy. And it comes from literally simply following my highest excitement, which means that I'm always high because everything is always cool, because by definition, you're choosing what's cool, what's fun. And then you're just high on creativity the whole time. And then I have so many creative outlets. I have my coaching programs, whether that's private coaching or a course that you can take. So I'm creating all of that, the structure for that, the meditations for that, the content that we're going to touch inside of those programs. I'm creating this podcast. I'm creating a weekly newsletter. So I talk to you guys. I write to you. There's Instagram with the videos. So there's so many avenues for my creativity to just flourish, to flow like water. And then freedom number 5 is decision-making freedom, which means that I am the one who's calling all the shots. I'm the one who's making the decisions. I have total control over the business choices. And I've said this to myself. I am not interested in selling Bistopia at any point. I didn't set this business to, some people set up a business, they scale it, then they sell it, they do an exit, they sell it, all of that. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in having shareholders. I'm going to be the shareholder. I'm not interested in selling this business. So I'm 100% in control of the business, and I intend to be always in control of the business. The team will grow for sure. There's going to be people working, more and more people working in the Bistopia team, but I will be the one calling the shots ultimately. So I'm the one who's setting the goals, the strategies. I'm the one who's choosing which tools we use, and there's so many. I'm the one who's deciding on partnerships. Who am I going to collaborate on? What? Why? Which are the priorities for the business? If I see something coming up in the market, like for example, I felt that many people were coming to me with money mindset needs, then you know what? I created a program, and now we have a money mindset program inside of Bistopia. And I didn't need to run this idea through my boss, through the boss of my boss, through the boss of the boss of the boss of the boss of the boss. And I was just able to listen to the market and launch an offer that is going to satisfy the market. So what does this look very concretely in my life, in Bistopia? I'm the one who's setting the annual goals. And I set realistic, conservative, chill goals that then I, of course, smash. But I'm not setting those crazy objectives that we used to have in the corporate world, where you're like, dude, we will never do this. Like, do you really need double-digit growth every year? No, we don't need double-digit growth every year. So I set realistic, normal, conservative goals. I set the priorities for the business. What are we launching? What are we focusing on? How are we pivoting? And then I can decide on everything. I can decide on the product suite. I can decide on the pricing. I can decide on the marketing strategy, literally everything. So this is also kind of freedom. So I'm the one who's calling the shots. I'm the one who has the veto power. I'm the one who's saying green light or red light. So to summarize, the 5 types of freedom are time freedom. So the ability to choose what's in your agenda and what's not in your agenda. Location freedom, the ability wherever you want to be physically. Financial freedom, the fact that there is no fixed income ceiling, sky's the limit. The creative freedom to be able to create and just pour into this world, whatever you want to pour into this world. And the decision-making freedom, being the one who's actually making the business choices. So that's the episode today on freedom. This is what I wanted to share with you. If you are on the entrepreneurial path, enjoy all of this freedom, really soak it in. And if you decided to be in the corporate world, then how can you incorporate a little bit more freedom here and there? Can you get in a team where you are the one who's calling the shots creatively? Or can you get higher up in the ladder so you're the one who's calling the shots, making the decisions for the business? Can you ask to have a remote work so that you can have location freedom? Can you get a new job so that you have location freedom and maybe time freedom? So whether you've chosen the entrepreneurial path or the corporate path, you can always go deeper and deeper and deeper. Realize which of those types of freedom that I have shared with you is really making you feel alive, which one your soul is truly, truly craving. And then you can, from that space, start to make changes in your life so that you can have more of these different types of freedom. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. It's been a true joy to spend this time with you. Thank you so much for trusting me, for spending time with me over and over and over again every week. We have listeners from 77 countries now, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I love you, each and every one of you. I will see you in the next episode. And in the meantime, in Bistopia we trust.